Hi everyone, welcome back to LL Sports TV. A quick game review of Arsenal versus Shakhtar Donetsk in match day 3, I believe, of the Champions League. Going into the game, Arsenal obviously coming off that disappointing loss to Bournemouth 2-0. So it was very important that tonight the guys get the game right. Mikel Arteta made a few changes to the team, to the starting lineup. Mikel Mourinho and Raheem Sterling were left out. Saka and Timber still out through injury. Saka with a hamstring, Timber with a muscle injury. Obviously, Martin Odegaard is still out. Gabriel Jesus and Gabriel Martinelli came into the starting lineup today. Gabriel Jesus was actually made captain for the game tonight. To the first half then, Arsenal made a positive start, dominated possession. I think it was something like 68% they were registering in terms of possession. Had some very good chances. I mean, after 5 minutes, Ricardo Calafiori had an excellent chance to score, which he spurned. But yes, the game was pretty much in Arsenal's favour. And on 29 minutes, they actually scored. Gabriel Martinelli, who'd had, up until then anyway, had a bright game, going past his man, cut in, took the shot, bounced off the goalkeeper, actually. No, I think it hit the post, hit the goalkeeper and rolled over the line. So it wasn't quite Gabriel Martinelli's goal, but obviously he was the catalyst. It's an own goal, but Arsenal 1-0 up, and you're thinking, yeah, they're really going to go on and stick it on Shakhtar and possibly get a 3 or 4, which is what a lot of people were predicting before the game, actually. So pretty much in complete control. However, Arsenal, I've got to be honest and say that whilst they looked like they were going to go on and dominate and win comfortably, the cutting edge wasn't quite there, and we've said that a few times this season. I think 43 minutes in, Gabriel Jesus missed an excellent chance. By the way, that's now 22 games without a goal for Gabriel Jesus, not scored since January. So he is definitely in need of a goal, that's for sure. Second half, again, Arsenal started off the brighter, dominating the possession. But again, the cutting edge wasn't quite there. And after about 60 minutes, I remember making a mental note and saying, it looked like Arsenal had gone a bit flat. So it was quite a frustrating game to watch because I've got to be honest, the quality from both sides had kind of dipped commensurately, and Arsenal started to get a bit sloppy. And it was also noticeable that round about this time, Shakhtar actually grew in a bit of confidence. They're probably thinking, hang on a minute, we might get something out of this game. So they started actually playing a bit of football, looked a bit better. Arsenal made a couple of substitutions. Gabriel Jesus came off. Raheem Sterling came on. Calafiori looked like he got injured. Miles Lewis-Skelly come on for him. 75 minutes, Arsenal had a penalty. Bit dubious. It was for handball. Bit harsh, to be honest, although I can see why it would have been given. But anyway, Leandro Trossard misses a penalty. I've got to say it was not a good penalty. He tried to go straight down the middle, but there was a real lack of conviction about it, and the keeper saved. The sloppiness continued from Arsenal. And again, Shakhtar, to be fair to them, they hung in there and they started to play a little bit of football. And I've got to be honest, man, towards the end of the game, they actually finished the stronger side. And they had a couple of chances to score late on in the game. So, a word for Shakhtar Donetsk. I mean, listen, man, we've got to be honest and say that they're not the best of opposition. But they did their best and they were plucky. They didn't chuck it in. So you got to give them credit for that. So, yeah, you got to say that Shakhtar did their best and hung in there. The game finished 1-0. But I've got to say that it wasn't the greatest of games, in terms of quality and excitement. It wasn't one of Arsenal's better games. Shakhtar, as I said, they were plucky. They tried to hang in there. They did lose, but, they did show effort and commitment. But I've got to be honest and say that they're not the best side that Arsenal are going to come across this season by any means in the Champions League. I think something like they've only got 4 wins in their last 28 games in the Champions League. They've not won any games in the Champions League in this current round. They played 3 games, lost 2. I think they drew Bologna and they lost to, who was it? I think they lost to, they got beaten quite heavily by Atalanta, 3-0, and of course they've lost tonight against Arsenal, and they've not scored in the Champions League this year either. But as for Arsenal, as I said, a 1-0 win. We got to, we got to talk about the positives. We got the win. We kept a clean sheet. We're unbeaten in the Champions League so far. In terms of players who played well today, I thought Gabriel Martinelli had a good first half. I thought Partey had a decent game. But overall, there wasn't too many players that stood out, I've got to be honest. And I think the best thing that can be said for tonight is the win and the clean sheet, and the fact that, as I said, we're unbeaten in the Champions League. I think, as I speak to you now, I think we're 4th out of 36. We need to be in the top 8 to qualify automatically. So on that front, things are looking good. Negatives, I've got to talk about the lack of cutting edge. We missed chances, and after a while, I thought we looked a bit sloppy. Gave the ball away a few times. As I said, I actually think that Shakhtar finished the game stronger. So that was a bit of a concern. We missed the penalty, and then there was the injury to Calafiori, which we're hoping that he'll be available to face Liverpool on Sunday, but it didn't look good as he was coming off. Shots on goal, Arsenal 13 to Shakhtar's 9. Shots on target, Arsenal 5 to Shakhtar's 1. Overall possession stats, Arsenal in the ascendancy there, 56% to Shakhtar's 44. Listen, to wrap things up, I've got to say, Arsenal, whilst we got the win, and I'm going to say that we were never really in danger, but we were, because Shakhtar had a couple of chances late to equalise, which they didn't take, thank God. But Arsenal were definitely the better team, but they weren't convincing. It wasn't the type of performance that you rub your hands with glee and say, yeah, we're back, all guns blazing. No, that wasn't the case. Arsenal will definitely need to raise their level of performance if they're going to beat Liverpool in what is now a massive game this weekend, when you consider Arsenal were so disappointing, were beaten away at Bournemouth last week. And looking at that game in isolation, you're struggling to get a lot of confidence from that. But what I would say is that the game tonight and the game at the weekend will be very, very different. The game on Sunday will be a lot more energised. There'll be a lot more on it. And I think Arsenal will respond. They will need to, because Liverpool are a very, very formidable opponent. They've been playing well. But I do think Arsenal can get something out of the game. I just would like to say that a lot of people have been talking about Arsenal's lack of cutting edge, and it was apparent tonight. A lot of people are saying they'd like to see Ethan Nwaneri come in and start against Liverpool. Now, that might not be such a wild call after all, because, in the last couple of games, we've not played well. In fact, an Arsenal player has not scored in our last 2 games. We did score against Bournemouth, and tonight the goal that we did get was courtesy of an own goal. So we will need to sharpen up. But I do think that, as I said before, the game on Sunday will be very different. I'm backing Arsenal to get a result. I don't think we'll lose a game, and I do actually think that we can raise our game and win. But obviously the level of performance will have to be raised. The guys will have to improve on what we saw in the last couple of weeks. But I'm backing them, man. A lot of people had a lot to say, myself included, after we lost to Bournemouth. That was a very disappointing game. I think there was an element of complacency there, and of course, a lack of discipline shown by William Saliba, who foolishly got him sent off. By the way, he's going to miss that game. But I do think at times this season, notably the Man City game, when we've been asked to raise our levels, we've done so. And I do believe that will be the case this weekend. But that's what I think. Let me know what you think. Can we turn things around performance-wise and get a result, get a win against Liverpool, which we badly need because we dropped points last week, can't afford to do so this weekend. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. Catch you on the next one. I'm out.